Hello, and today I'm talking about another 4x4 parity idea, related to the last one I did, except I've improved it slightly, and hopefully explain it a little bit better. So, the idea is to only do at most one parity alg during a solve. If you don't have OLL parity, then there's not really anything new here in terms of solving technique, although there is slightly. That will make sense later. So it's mostly for when you have OLL parity. So the goal is to end up with something that looks a bit like the following. So I'm going to do a setup move here and then do a sort of normal wide turn parity alg. I say normal, I do a slightly weird execution. But you see it flips this bar here, swaps edges at the side, and so you see what we have is F2L edge in place but flipped, and a U-layer corner on the bottom with the top layer colour facing down, and the top is oriented. So if we have something that looks like that, we have that pair of edges swapped, that pair of edges swapped. If we just have OLL parity, or if we have double parity, then we will have that. And you can use a double parity alg just to flip that bar and nothing else. It'll show that I'll use for that soon, but that's the sort of thing you can look up there. That's not new. So the way this works is if you're to get to the last slot, you need to be keeping track of edge orientations, and if you see you have OLL parity, then you solve the F2L slot like that with the edge flipped and some U-layer corner with the U-layer sticker facing down. You'll do OLL to get to that something that looks like this, and then that's when things get a little bit awkward. So to do this well, you really need to recognise PLL differently. You need to recognise using CP and looking at any two edges which have to go opposite each other. So you can either use, say, green and blue, or let's say red and orange. This is my mini also, so it's pink and orange. Well, I was probably going to use my full size one, and then I popped it just before making this video. That happens. So yeah, so when you're doing the OLL, then it would be a good idea to sort of track a pair of opposite edges. You can see how they compare to the CP, and then you can use that to recognise PLL. Then you'll never have an adjacent swap, which would be kind of awkward. Unless you just sort of get one of them to start with, in which case I guess you can learn some algs for those cases, or just do like a U-perm or something to get to the nicer case. That is then a slight issue because you need to relearn how to recognise PLL cases using that, rather than using, say, two-side recognition, or what people usually do for PLL parity on 4x4. We look at two sides, see what case it is, see if the third side is consistent. So in a way that probably would be better in the long run, because you're just looking at two edges that you can trace and CP, and you don't need to look at, say, three sides to try and figure out which PLL and whether you've got parity or not. You can just sort of ignore parity at that stage, recognise the PLL from the two edges, and then you deal with the PLL parity later when it's really obvious to recognise. You don't actually need to see it sooner. Well, if you do see it sooner, then maybe there's some extra tricks you can do. I don't really know about that. It's not a bad thing if you recognise it earlier in the solve. You just don't need to. And so yeah, it means if you have OLL parity, you do this, and you can take care of OLL parity and PLL parity at the same time if you have it, and you don't actually need to recognise PLL parity when it's awkward to recognise. And there's one other advantage of this method, which is really cool. I really like this. So I'm going to demonstrate for an n-perm. So as you can see, that's looks like an n-perm. if you're doing this from sort of opposite edge recognition, you can also see this blue one is here. From doing the OLL, you track the green edge as well. You know that's at the back, and so you know that you have these blocks, and so that's an end perm. The nice thing is you don't actually have to do an end perm. Well, this isn't really PLL. It's you get a U layer corner here. You get a D layer corner up here, and the U layer corner down here. But so long as this doesn't end up being this corner here, it's just one of the ones with a yellow sticker, then that's fine. It doesn't have to stay being this corner, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 moves, 2 gen, TTLL, alg. 11 moves, 2 gen is basically as good as a U-perm. The U-perms are 11 moves. And yeah, we solved an end perm, well, something that looked like an end perm, 2 gen. And I've not listed the tricks for all of the PL cases like that, but unless I'm much mistaken, you can do a 2 gen, or pseudo 2 gen, you can do a rotate, or like a D prime for every single PLL case, regardless of which position this D layer corner is in. So say you had something like a T perm there, so that one there's the D layer corner. You need to use a different trick, depending on which place it's in, but you can do all of them 2 gen unless I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I've not fully documented it, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So yeah, you do that. You do rotate, double parity, AUF, or it's on the left but still, and done. And if you use that PLL recognition with opposite edges, that's probably helpful if you don't have OLL parity and you're just getting to PLL normally. You can use that recognition, and either it'll end up solved, or you have an opposite swap of edges, which is the nicer case to be left with. So that's helpful. Also, you can use this with like other OLL tricks, or the LCP, ZBLL cases as well, I guess. It's probably a good way to learn ZBLL recognition using opposite edges, because then you can use the same tricks on 4x4 if that's something you care about. I don't know, I'm not going to learn ZBLL ever, that's just a thought I had. So yeah, I think that's really cool, and I think that's a good way to deal with parity, and I plan to use it. I don't really use it yet because I've not learned the PLL recognition, and I've not done a lot of solves trying to learn the recognition for it, but at some point I will learn it, and it's going to be fun, and hopefully someone else also thinks it's worthwhile. So thanks for listening.